In August 2018, 27-year-old Meighan Cordiee and her mother, Jennifer Weathers, went to a family friend's wedding in Yamhill County, Oregon. What should have been a fun night of dancing and celebration ended in a mystery. On their way home, something happened to Meighan. Only 3 people know the truth of what happened, but 2 of them are no longer able to speak about it. The third, a 3-year-old child in a car seat, saw her mother for the last time, but she was too young to explain what really happened. The story of how Meighan Cordiee ended up at the bottom of an embankment along Dayton Road is full of confusion and frustration. This is her story. Meighan Cordiee was born in December 1990 to Jennifer Weathers and Anton Cordiee. She had 1 younger brother, Jacob. Not much is known about her early life, but her father, Tony, was a former Clackamas fire captain. Meighan lived in Oregon and became a mother herself in 2015 when she had a daughter, Gia. Gia was Meighan's whole world. The 2 were very close, and Meighan would do anything for her daughter. Meighan's Aunt Tracy remembered her as someone who loved to make people laugh and had a bright, infectious smile that could light up any room. On August 18th, Meighan, her mother Jennifer, and her 3-year-old daughter Gia attended a wedding at Heiser Farms, a quiet venue located in a rural area. The venue was a perfect spot to celebrate love with close family and friends. The day before the wedding, Meighan and her mom argued over who would drive to the venue since it was in an unfamiliar area. Jennifer wanted Meighan to drive so she could take Gia home if she got tired, but in the end, Jennifer drove them there herself. It's unclear if either Meighan or Jennifer had an alcohol problem, but the events that followed show that alcohol played a major role. The couple had a beautiful wedding ceremony, followed by a lively reception. Drinks were flowing, and everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves. Everyone except for Meighan and Jennifer, who had both been drinking. Witnesses saw the 2 women argue about something, with Jennifer allegedly looking noticeably drunk. Some guests said she was swaying and rated her level of drunkenness as a 6 or 8 out of 10. Definitely not someone you'd want driving. Around 10 p.m., Gia, Meighan's 3-year-old daughter, started to get tired. Meighan didn't want to stay at the party with a tired, cranky toddler, especially in an unfamiliar place. Jennifer, however, wasn't happy about leaving early. She reportedly said to Meighan, "Exactly what I said was going to happen, happened," referring to having to leave because of Gia. They left, with Jennifer driving and Meighan in the front seat. Gia was in her car seat in the back. The argument between the 2 women continued in the car. After driving for a short time, Jennifer stopped the car and Meighan got out. Authorities know this happened because Meighan's phone pinged at that location. The argument continued outside the car until Jennifer convinced Meighan to get back in. This time, Meighan sat in the back with Gia. While driving, Meighan made a call to her boyfriend. He could hear the argument between her and Jennifer in the background. It was loud and filled with shouting. Some reports say Meighan told her boyfriend that Jennifer was drunk. After that call, Meighan's boyfriend would never speak to her or see her alive again. This is the version of events that Jennifer told authorities in the days following the troubling car ride. Jennifer claimed that Meighan, upset from their argument, demanded she stop the car so she could get out. Jennifer complied, and Meighan exited the car, leaving her phone and shoes behind. Jennifer shouted out the window, calling for Meighan, but when she turned the car around to search for her, Meighan was nowhere to be found. Jennifer spent the next 30 minutes driving up and down the road looking for her daughter, but after not finding her, she decided to head home, saying she wanted to get Gia back safely. Jennifer assumed that Meighan either got a ride from someone else or made her way back to the wedding venue. That night, Jennifer went home, climbed into bed, and fell asleep, unaware that her daughter had not made it back safely. Meighan was still missing.
Hi, is this a number I call for a non-emergency?
This is the dispatch center non-emergency number. How can I help you?
I'm sorry. My daughter has been missing since last night, and I'm getting kind of worried because she's supposed to work in 10 minutes, and I haven't heard anything from her. We were at a wedding, and she was upset and got out of the car, and I haven't heard from her since, and I haven't been able to find her. I drove around for 2 hours this morning looking for where she got out of the car, and so I don't know if I should call 911 or if I have to wait a certain amount of time.
The next morning, on August 19th, Jennifer woke up to find that Meighan still hadn't returned. Concerned, she decided to report her missing, but didn't call 911. Instead, Jennifer contacted the non-emergency line. During the call, she explained that she had spent 2 hours searching for Meighan that morning, but had been unable to find her.
No, there's never a certain amount of time that you have to wait.
Okay.
Do you want to report her as missing?
Yeah, I think so.
Where was she missing from?
I've checked the hospitals and I checked the jails, and she's not in either one of those. So the wedding was at Heiser Farm in Dayton, Oregon.
This call has sparked much debate, with people analyzing Jennifer's words and the calmness in her tone. While some may argue that everyone handles stress differently, the mention of calling jails and hospitals seems odd. If Jennifer truly thought that her daughter might have been arrested or injured badly enough to be in the hospital, it would seem that there should have been a stronger sense of urgency in her voice. After all, when you rule out those possibilities, the worry doesn't fade, it increases. At that point, the fear would be that Meighan could be injured somewhere with no way to get help, or worse, that she had ended up with the wrong person.
And what is your name?
My name is Jennifer Weathers.
And what is her name?
Meighan, Meighan, Cordiee, Cordie.
You know what she was wearing?
She was wearing I want to say it was floral pantsuit. It was one piece, short sleeve, navy blue with flowers on it. And she doesn't have her phone. She didn't have her phone. She left it in my car. She didn't have her wallet. Everything was in my car.
Okay, we'll go ahead and have someone get in contact with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The authorities took Meighan's sudden disappearance very seriously. After all, she had gotten out of a car on a dark, unlit road in a rural area she wasn't familiar with, an extremely dangerous situation. A call for volunteers to help search for Meighan went out, and her face was plastered all over the local area. 300 volunteers and emergency workers gathered to search the woods, rivers, and farmlands where Meighan had last been seen. However, no trace of her was found along this route. To understand the area better, it's worth noting that on the day Meighan disappeared, she had briefly stopped at a store not far from the wedding venue, where a family friend, Megan Spencer, worked. Meighan complimented her outfit, a blue floral jumpsuit, and Megan Spencer responded, "Thank you." She was shocked to hear about the disappearance, but she wasn't surprised someone could go missing in that area.
Well, she was barefoot, and it's 10 at night. It's pitch black down there. There's no street lights, no nothing.
By the end of the first day, Megan's family and friends were devastated to hear that there was still no news of her. She was still missing, and every moment counted. Given the strange circumstances of her disappearance and the fact that the authorities knew Jennifer was the last person to see her, it wasn't surprising they wanted to speak further with her. But before they did, they needed to search her car. Inside, they found Meighan's cell phone and shoes in the front seat where she had been sitting when they left the wedding venue. While finding her phone was concerning, there was something far more troubling in the car: a clump of blonde hair on the front seat. The roots were still attached, indicating the hair had been pulled out, not cut. Now, it seemed the argument Jennifer had mentioned was more serious than she'd let on. In the following clip, Jennifer was questioned while hooked up to a lie detector test. While investigators knew the results couldn't be used in court, they hoped it would lead them closer to the truth.
Yeah, we were in the car.
Okay. And then it got heated in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And did it ever get physical in the car?
She pulled my hair.
Okay. How far from the venue were you, or was it still at the venue?
No, it was right before she got out of the car. We'd already started driving, and she was yelling at me. And she just yanked my head back. And I slammed on the brakes, and then I yelled at her, "What are you doing? Gia's in the car." And I reached back and hit her arm. I'm sure I must have hit her arm. I was trying to make her let go of my hair.
As mentioned at the beginning of the case, only 3 people truly know what happened that day. While we can't say for certain which parts of Jennifer's story are true, it's clear that she places all the blame on Meighan. People argue all the time, and while physical confrontation is never the right approach, Jennifer seems to be absolving herself of any responsibility for the argument. She paints the picture of Meighan losing control in front of Gia, but from everything we know, Meighan was a loving and dedicated mother. The idea of her suddenly acting violently in front of her daughter seems out of character. Another detail worth noting is the long pause in Jennifer's statement when she mentioned hitting Meighan's arm. This kind of pause is a classic example of someone filling the silence, a sign of discomfort. Despite trying to appear calm and collected, Jennifer's pause, lasting 12 long seconds, suggests she wasn't as confident in her account of events as she tried to make it seem. If she had been recounting the events clearly and truthfully, there would have been no need for that awkward break in the conversation.
And when she finally let go of my hair, I started slowing the car down, which is when she started opening the door and saying, "I'm going to get out." Oh, first she had called her boyfriend.
You hit her in the arm how many times?
Oh, I don't know. I just reached back until she let go of my hair.
Okay.
I don't
Are you sure that you were hitting her arm?
No.
You're just hitting something?
I was just reaching back and...
Okay.
I mean, it had to have been her arm because she would have been like this. So, I'm assuming it was her arm.
Okay.
Yeah, but she called her boyfriend first and wanted him to come get her.
What's
And
his
that
name?
was before she pulled my hair. His name is Brendan. She calls him Burr. That's his nickname, B-U-R.
Cursing back and forth at one another and really getting ugly like that? I mean, you're saying that she's...
me? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she called him, you know, "I want you to come get me, and he must have said no. And then,
Whose phone did she call him with?
hers.
Okay.
And then,
And this is when she pulls your hair not too long after that?
yeah.
What predicated that?
Who knows? I have no idea.
Were you guys in the middle of yelling at one another and she pulls your hair?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so then, you know, after he wouldn't come pick her up, and she pulls my hair.
So using derogatory terms towards one another? Was that
No, I
fair
don't call
assessment?
Meighan names, yeah.
Does she call you names?
Oh, of course. I mean, not of course, but yes, she does.
Okay.
Not like trying to get her to let go of my hair. She finally lets go of my hair. I start slowing the car down. She's like, "I'm going to get out." And I'm like, "You're not getting out. You're not getting out of the car." And I was almost to a stop. And she started opening the door, which is why I was slowing down. And I was almost to a stop, and she just opened it and jumped out. So then I stopped the car and got out and walked around it, closed her door that she had jumped out of, and I was looking for her. I couldn't see her anywhere. I'm calling her name, and she's not answering me. I can't leave the car because Gia's in it. So I'm just calling her name, get back in the car, and I can't see her anywhere. So I got back in the car and turned it around because I figured with the direction she jumped out, she'd be heading the opposite way. So I got back in the car and turned around and tried to find her with the headlights. I had the windows rolled down, and I'm just calling her name. And she's just not answering. And I couldn't see anything.
How fast do you think you were going when she jumped out?
Oh, I mean, like, literally I was almost to a stop.
Okay. Like less than 5 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because as soon as she started saying she was going to get out and started messing with the door handle, I started coming to a stop.
And you couldn't see her?
Mm-mm.
Did you hear anything when she jumped?
Mm-mm.
You didn't hear an ouch or anything like that?
No.
Then you went back to the car, turned around, headed back towards the farm? Okay. What's the child doing?
I don't know. So I drove back and forth, I don't know, probably for about a half an hour, trying to find her. I called Burr at some point, but he didn't answer his phone. And then Gia was crying. Oh my God, I can't believe she was there for all of that. Oh my gosh.
Is this normal for Meighan to flip out like this?
Not so much recently. I mean, back in the day when I first got divorced and got remarried, it was.
Did you try and call her?
Try and call Meighan?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. No, I did not.
Why not?
I don't know. It didn't even occur to me to try and call her.
Okay.
I was more worried about Gia and getting Gia home. At that point, Meighan wasn't my focus, Gia was. So I just drove home and I took her upstairs and put her in bed.
Had Meighan done this kind of stuff in the past?
What kind of stuff?
Jump out of your car?
She'd never actually done it, but yeah, she's threatened to before.
Okay. Any more drinking or anything that night for you?
No. Definitely.
Muscle relaxers, anything?
No.
Okay.
No. No, I was so tired already. I was exhausted. I didn't take my makeup off or anything. I never do that. I didn't take my contacts out.
Okay.
I just got in bed with Gia because she was asleep. And I just crawled in with her and cuddled her.
Okay. Did that surprise you that Meighan was acting the way she was acting in front of her daughter?
In front of her daughter, yeah. And that she wouldn't stop.
Okay.
It definitely surprised me. I mean, she hasn't done anything like that before.
No?
No. And usually in text.
Mm.
You know, she's an angry texter. An instant angry texter.
What kind of stuff sets her off?
Me. Anything I do. You know, she'd done it to me a few weeks ago when I stopped by to pick up Gia while she was at work. I met her at her work and picked her up. And
Where does she work?
Blue Mercury at Bridgeport.
What is that?
It's a cosmetic store with aesthetic services.
Okay.
She's an esthetician.
Uh-huh. You'd stop by to pick up
I picked
Gia.
up Gia and asked her what time she was going to be done with work, and she said 5:30, and so I thought, you know, you had told me 5 before, and she was like, yeah, I thought it was 5, but it was 5:30, and I just kind of rolled my eyes, because she does that a lot, like, just doesn't know her schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what? I'm like, well, I just don't understand how you never know your schedule. Like, you're 27 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not know whether you get off at 5 or 5:30?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I woke up at about 5:30.
On Sunday?
On Sunday, because the sun was coming out, and I got up and I got dressed and grabbed Gia and went out to look for Meighan.
You didn't call her first?
No. No, I had her phone. She had left her phone in the car.
When did you figure that out?
When I took Gia out of the back seat, I saw it on the floor.
After 4 days of intensive searching, the authorities were forced to call off the search. Despite a large number of people and resources being devoted to finding Meighan, no sign of her had been found within the wide area around where Jennifer said she had gotten out of the car. The search had to be scaled back, but the case would remain an active investigation. By this point, suspicion had begun to fall on Jennifer. Her story wasn't adding up, and when the results of her lie detector test came back inconclusive, the investigators grew even more concerned that she wasn't telling them the full truth. But soon, a significant development would occur. On August 23rd, the day after the search was officially called off, a group of joggers were out on a quiet stretch of Dayton Road when one of them noticed something down a steep embankment. It was Meighan. The joggers had stumbled upon her body, which was found 9 miles away from where Jennifer had said she got out of the car. This discovery marked a tragic end to a heartbreaking case. A community paused to mourn and remember Meighan. Meighan's body was collected and sent to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. The results showed that she had suffered significant injuries. Her cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma to the head with aortic separation, an injury that would have caused instant death. For the next 30 days, there was little to no information released by the authorities regarding the case. That was until a press conference on September 27th, where District Attorney Brad Berry provided an update. He explained the events leading up to Meighan's death and discussed the autopsy's findings. It was revealed that the medical examiner believed Meighan's injuries were inconsistent with being hit by a car. Additionally, the lack of damage to her bare feet indicated she had not walked any distance. It was also disclosed that Jennifer had failed her second polygraph test and had stopped cooperating with the investigation. Perhaps the most crucial piece of information revealed during the press conference was that District Attorney Brad Berry stated the medical examiner believed Meighan had exited the car while it was moving at a speed greater than 5 miles per hour. Despite this, the death was ruled accidental and no criminal charges were brought in relation to her death. The investigators and the district attorney speculated that Jennifer had missed a turn and was driving in the wrong direction when Meighan either fell or jumped from the vehicle. She then hit the ground and rolled down the steep embankment. Shockingly, there was no mention of Jennifer potentially speeding just before Meighan exited the car, a detail that could only have come from Gia. Jennifer Weathers was charged with driving under the influence and reckless endangerment. She went to trial in October, but since she hadn't taken a breathalyzer test that night, prosecutors relied solely on witness testimony from those who saw her at the wedding. In the end, Jennifer accepted a plea deal for driving drunk and faced no charges related to the death of her daughter. The prosecutor and district attorney expressed their frustration over the lack of charges related to Meighan's death, publicly stating that Jennifer had misled the police. She served 5 days in jail and was sentenced to 3 years of probation. Gia now lives with her father in Salem, Oregon, and Jennifer is prohibited from having any contact with her. The latest update in the case came when Meighan's father sued Jennifer for $500,000 for negligence leading to Meighan's death while driving under the influence. He also sued the wedding venue for nearly $1 million, accusing them of overserving alcohol and failing to prevent Jennifer from driving while intoxicated. However, a judge dismissed this case after Meighan's father failed to respond to a motion from the defense. In truth, we may never know exactly what happened to Meighan Cordiee. This case remains shrouded in mystery, with more questions than answers. Given Jennifer's behavior, it seems unlikely that she will ever come forward with a different story. And so, this case ends here. Thanks for watching.